Organizational transformation often fails in a place most leaders do not think to look first. Not in the strategy deck, not in the governance chart, not even in the timeline. It fails in the quiet signals leaders miss while the change is still young enough to save. A team grows quieter. Managers ask fewer questions in the group and more in private. Polite agreement increases, but ownership does not. Momentum appears steady on the surface, while confusion spreads underneath. Too often, leaders read that silence as buy-in. That is where the trouble begins. Harvard Business Review recently highlighted a leadership perception gap during transformation. The point was sharp. Leaders often misread silence, dismiss valid concerns, or assume resistance where the real issue is their inability to see what people are experiencing. That argument matters because so many organizations are trying to move faster while also flattening teams, restructuring work, and asking managers to carry more human complexity with fewer supports. I would add something important to that discussion. This is not only a people skills problem, it is also a systems problem. When leaders lack a repeatable way to build trust, surface risk, use feedback developmentally, and help teams co-create useful norms, they are left to guess. And guessing is a terrible change strategy. Think about how often this happens. A senior team launches a major shift and assumes the message landed because nobody openly pushed back. But the room was not aligned. It was careful. People were still trying to assess whether honesty was welcome, whether concerns would be heard, and whether speaking up would create risk for them. What leaders interpreted as support was often hesitation mixed with self-protection. That is why change efforts can look fine for weeks and still fail later. The problem did not begin when results slipped. It began when the human signals were ignored. Research supports the scale of the challenge. DDI's latest work shows how rare strong change leadership really is, especially when empathy, influence, and emotional engagement are required. Gartner has also found that organizations are far more likely to succeed when they adapt change plans based on employee response rather than treating the rollout as fixed. That tells us something simple but profound. People do not only need a reason to change, they need a way to live through change with enough trust, clarity, and voice that the new direction can actually hold. This is where so many consultants, fractional executives, and HR leaders are feeling the market shift. They are not being asked for advice alone anymore. They are being asked to help leaders read the room better, to help feedback land without breaking trust, to help teams stop circling around conflict and start creating working norms that make better execution possible. To help organizations replace the human work hierarchy once carried automatically. That is not a small demand, and it is not solved by another one-off training. It requires a system that makes trust visible, a system that treats feedback as developmental, not merely corrective, a system that helps teams practice behaviors, not just admire values, a system that shortens the time new or stressed teams spend in confusion, friction, and misread intent. That is the deeper opportunity hidden inside the HBR argument. If leaders are missing signals from their people, then the answer is not merely, be more empathetic. The answer is to install stronger human infrastructure. When trust becomes structure, people speak earlier. When feedback builds future confidence, correction becomes easier to hear. When team norms are co-created, conflict becomes easier to interpret and repair. When those practices repeat, organizational transformation has a far better chance of sticking. This matters even more in an AI-shaped workplace. McKinsey and Deloitte are both pointing to a future where work is being redesigned faster, organizations are becoming more fluid, and leadership must become more human-centered, not less. That means the market will keep rewarding people who can help organizations do more than communicate change. It will reward those who can help leaders and teams function better while change is happening. That is why I keep coming back to this distinction. What looks like resistance is often not resistance at all. It is what happens when leaders cannot read people, and the culture gives them no reliable way to learn. If you work with organizations in transition, that gap is probably familiar. And if it is, the question is no longer whether leaders need better people skills. The question is whether they have a repeatable system strong enough to make those skills visible, teachable, and sustainable under pressure. That is where the real work begins.